What's up, everyone? It's Bones here. I'd like to begin this video by giving a huge shout out to TCG Player for the opportunity to be a part of their affiliate program. If you want to help a content creator out, all you have to do is click on the TCG Player link down below, and it won't cost you anything either. I was going to wait until Legacy of Destruction for my next Yubel combo video, but then we got this glorious name change on this fateful month. Yubel the Loving Defender Forever wishes everyone a happy Valentine's Day, and for this first combo we'll be featuring Puri Ray's map, as it's going to add us our first new card, the Samsara D Lotus, and it's a level 1 that reads, you contribute this card, special summon one Yubel monster from your deck. During your opponent's turn when a monster effect is activated while you control a Yubel monster, quick effect, you contribute this card. The activated effect becomes destroy one Yubel monster on the field. During your end phase, if you control Yubel and this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand or special summon it. You can only use each effect of Lotus once per turn. Now we're going to continue by normal summoning the Lotus, and we're going to use its Lone Fire-like effect in order to special summon out the Spirit of Yubel. This is our next new card, a level 10 that reads, cannot be destroyed by battle, also you take no damage from battles involving this card. If this card is destroyed, you can special summon one of your Yubel that is banished or in your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of Spirit of Yubel once per turn. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can add to your hand or set one spell trap from your deck that mentions Yubel. So similar to the Spirit of Neos, as we're now going to continue by searching out the spell trap, and we're going to get our Nightmare Pain, we're going to set it, and this plays around Ash, as you can see. The other cool thing about this is that if you do open with the Lotus instead of the Puri Ray's map, this also plays around Droll, but we're going to read the Nightmare Pain. It's a continuous spell that says, during your main phase, you can destroy one dark monster in your hand or face-up field, and if you do, add one Yubel or one card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, except Nightmare Pain. You can only use this effect of Nightmare Pain once per turn. While you control a Yubel monster, your opponent's monsters that can attack must attack Yubel monsters. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving Yubel monsters. So we're going to continue here by using the effect of the Nightmare Pain. This will destroy the Spirit of Yubel, getting yet another new card, the Eternal Favorite, as we'll also be able to trigger the Spirit of Yubel in the graveyard. But first, Eternal Favorite reads, once per turn you can activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect of Eternal Favorite once per turn. Special summon one of your Yubel monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. Neither can activate cards or effects when that monster is special summoned. The second one reads, if you control Yubel, discard one card and send this face-up card to the graveyard. Fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from either field as material, including a Yubel monster. So we're going to continue by using the effect of Spirit of Yubel, and this essentially sets up a super poly for our opponent's turn. Keep in mind that we do need a discard if you want the super poly effect to go off, and the other cool thing about this is that we do have the Samsara D Lotus in the graveyard in order to revive it so that we can tribute it off for the maintenance cost of Yubel so that we can keep it on board for our opponent's turn. Now this second combo starts with Dark Beckoning Beast and any card that you can set. So we're going to use our Dark Beckoning Beast effect on summon in order to get ourselves the opening of the Spirit Gates. We'll then use its effect in order to get ourselves another copy of Beckoning Beast, normal summon the Beckoning Beast, go into our Unchained, as we'll then be able to use its effect in order to get Sharvara, and then we'll be able to use the effect of the Spirit Gates in order to bring back the Beckoning Beast, sending the Sharvara to the graveyard, as we'll also be able to get the Sharvara effect in order to get ourselves the Chamber. And the reason that we play the Chamber over the Escape is just in case you happen to draw your Unchained cards together so that you can continue to play. Now from here we're then going to go into our Abyss Actor Super Producer, and this is a really important card in the deck that I've seen some people not play, and I really do think that you should play this card because of what it does for your card economy, the value it provides to your end boards. As you can see, we're only using the Dark Beckoning Beast plus a set card for this, and we're going to end on a decent enough board that makes it worth it in my opinion, as we're going to get the Sharvara revival off of the Yama, as we'll then use the effect Chamber that gets popped by the Yama, as we'll then be able to go into our Rage. From here we can then set the Super Poly or whatever else you have in order to bring back the Shyama, and now we can go into our Caesar, giving us the end board of the Rage plus the Caesar for our opponent's turn. Now for this next combo we have Nightmare Pain plus Spirit of Yubel, and something I forgot to do in the first combo was go over the Loving Defender Forever, which is the fusion Yubel monster. It takes one Yubel monster plus one effect monster on the field, so you can technically super poly your opponent's entire board, which is really cool. And if this card is fusion summoned, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each material used. You can only use this effect of Yubel once per turn. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, you take no battle damage from battles involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled an opponent's monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that opponent's monster's attack. And if you do, banish that monster. So a really nice card that is really made better by the Eternal Favorite. But we're then going to continue here by activating the Nightmare Pain, use its effect in order to pop the Spirit of Yubel in hand, get ourselves the Samsara D-Lotus. We'll then be able to special summon out Yubel off of Spirit, use the effect of the Samsara D-Lotus that we normal summon, bring out our Spirit of Yubel, use the effect of Spirit of Yubel. From here we'll be able to set the Eternal Favorite. At this point we'll be able to revive the Samsara, as we're then going to be able to tribute off the Spirit of Yubel for the Yubel maintenance cost, and the entire point of this is so that you can use the effect of the Samsara Regenerating Lotus during your opponent's turn in order to change an opponent's activated monster's effect. If you have a card in hand, you also get the Super Poly effect of Eternal Favorite. Now for this next combo, we have a TCG exclusive Tricorn. I'm not going to read the rest of that, but if a monster in your possession is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one monster in your graveyard with the same type and attribute as a monster you control. Add that monster to your hand, which again will basically be your entire archetype, as this deck revolves around Dark Fiend, attack 0, defense 0, but you can only use each effect of Tricorn once per turn. Now we're going to continue here by using our Samsara in order to get into our Spirit of Yubel, and as you've seen, the Nightmare Pain allows us to destroy the Spirit of Yubel, which gives us the ability to special summon out the Tricorn once we do that. So we're going to use the effect of the Spirit of Yubel, getting ourselves the Eternal Favorite. From here we'll then be able to special summon out the Tricorn, we'll then get ourselves the Yubel, set the Eternal Favorite, we'll then be able to bring back the Samsara D-Lotus, and from here we can tribute off the Tricorn in order to get itself or the Spirit of Yubel back to our hand, and we can keep ourselves the Eternal Favorite as we now have a discard. We then have the Samsara D-Lotus in order to change an opponent's monster effect, and this is just with these two cards. Now this next combo is going to start getting us into the heavier combos that the deck has, so if you're new to the deck, it might be worth learning those first combos first before you get into the more complicated ones, as we're now going to go into our Spirit of the Gates as we're going to activate it. We'll then be able to add ourselves another Dark Beckoning Beast. From here we're going to normal summon the Samsara Lotus with the extra normal summon that we get from Beckoning Beast. We're then going to special summon the Spirit of Yubel, use the effect of the Spirit of Yubel in order to get ourselves the Nightmare Pain. We'll then be able to use the effect of Nightmare Pain in order to pop the Spirit of Yubel. We'll get ourselves our next new card, the Mature Chronicle, and this is a card that I was sleeping on a little bit, as it's kind of like a mini 6 Samurai Gateway, and each time a monster is special summoned that is a Yubel monster or mentions Yubel, place one Chronicle counter on this card. You can remove Chronicle counters from your field to activate one of these effects. Special summon one Yubel from your graveyard, add one of your banished cards to your hand, banish one card from your deck, destroy one card on the field, add one Super Polymerization from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Mature Chronicle once per turn. A very watered down version of Gateway, but the fact still remains that you can get a bunch of counters on it and enable some cool plays for this deck, including even searching Super Poly, which isn't something that you'll really be doing turn 1 too often. We'll then be able to activate the Chronicle as we're going to use the effect of Gates. Bring back the Spirit of Yubel. This will give us our first counter. We'll then go into the Unchained. We'll use its effect in order to get ourselves the Sharvara. Use the effect of Sharvara, popping the Spirit of Yubel. We'll then be able to use the effect of Spirit, get ourselves another counter by bringing back the Yubel. Go into our Abyss Actor, use the effect of Sharvara, getting ourselves the Chamber. We can then use the effect of Super Producer, pop the Yubel, use the effect of Yubel along with the effect of Yama as Chainlink 2 to bring back the Charvara, pop the Chamber so that we can then get the Shyama after we bring out the Terror Incarnate off of the Yubel, which will give us another counter for the Mature Chronicle. We'll then be able to get access into the Rage, as we'll then use the effect of the Shyama in order to pop the Terror Incarnate. And now you're going to see that I am on both the Mature Chronicle along with the Ultimate Nightmare. I am well over 40 cards in this build because of this, and I just feel that both cards are necessary because they allow you to make stronger boards, while also giving you all the resources needed in order to do the maintenance cost for Yubel, play through potential disruptions, or just give you enough extenders through easy accessible combos like this. Now we're going to go into the Caesar, as we're then going to be able to use the effect of the Mature Chronicle, and this will bring back the Yubel, and the Ultimate Nightmare becomes tribute fodder for the Yubel maintenance cost, and we also get a counter back off the Mature Chronicle because we special summon the Yubel, and we'll get even another counter after we summon the Samsara. So we're then going to be able to tribute off the Ultimate Nightmare here, and this gives us our full board of the Rage, Rage, we then have the Caesar, the Yubel, along with the Samsara D-Lotus that is live because we have the Yubel on board. We have 5 counters here, and we can either search Super Poly or we can get ourselves back our Unchained, so just really cool things that you can do here. You also get the follow-up of the Samsara D-Lotus if this lives, or the Nightmare Pain. For this next combo, we have Nightmare Pain plus the Spirit of Yubel and the Tricorn, and we're going to start here by using the Nightmare Pain, popping the Spirit of Yubel. This will also trigger the Tricorn, and now we can use the effects Spirit of Yubel, Tricorn, have the normal summon of the Lotus, which means we'll be able to get into full combo as we're going to use the effect of the Samsara in order to get the Spirit of Yubel. So we'll then be able to get ourselves the Mature Chronicle. From here we can activate the Chronicle. We'll then go into the Yama, use the effect of the Yama along with the Tricorn, which will get itself or the Spirit of Yubel back. It doesn't matter, but we're then going to use the effect of the Sharvara, popping the Spirit. We'll then be able to use the effect of Spirit, giving ourselves Yubel, giving us another counter. We'll then go into the Abyss Actor, use the effect of Sharvara, get ourselves the Chamber. We'll then be able to use the Super Producer in order to pop the Yubel. We'll then get the effect of Yama, getting the Terror Incarnate along with the Sharvara and the pop of the Chamber, which will give us access into Shyama. We also get the counter that we get off of the Terror Incarnate summon. We'll then go into the Rage, use the effect of the Shyama, pop the Terror Incarnate, as we'll then be able to special summon out the Ultimate Nightmare, giving us the Tribute Fodder for the Yubel maintenance cost that we'll be able to get back from the Mature Chronicle. You see how these 2 cards allow us to assemble full boards just by being in the deck, and that's why I like playing both. We're then going to get another counter off of the Yubel summon, as we're then going to get yet another counter off of the Samsara summon. The Yubel will get its maintenance cost in the end phase, tributing off the Ultimate Nightmare as we pass on to our opponent. For this next combo, we have the Dark Beckoning Beast along with Tricorn and 1-for-1, and the way that we play this is a little bit different, as we're going to start here with the summon of Dark Beckoning Beast getting us the Spirit Gates, activate the Spirit Gates in order to get ourselves the Dark Beckoning Beast, use the 1-for-1 now in order to get ourselves access into the Samsara, use the effect of the Samsara, which will get us the Spirit of Yubel. Now the Spirit of Yubel will get us into the Nightmare Pain, and this will be able to get our Tricorn special summon as we pop the Spirit of Yubel, and this will give us just 2 bodies along with the Mature Chronicle, which will get us eventually into another body. You can even get yourself a card back depending on what you want to do, but we're now going to be able to activate the Mature Chronicle. We'll then go into the Yama, use the effect of the Yama along with the Tricorn in Graveyard. You can choose whichever chain link depending on the situation, but we're then going to get ourselves Sharvara, get back the Spirit of Yubel or the Tricorn, use the effect of the Gates, which will pitch back whatever you got back or whatever other card you want to pitch, get the counter for the Mature Chronicle, use the effect of the Sharvara, which will pop the Yubel, getting us the Terror Incarnate. Now we can get another counter. We'll then be able to go into our Abyss Actor with the Sharvara and the Yama, get the effect of the Sharvara for the Chamber, use the effect of Super Producer, popping the Spirit of Yubel. We'll then be able to revive the Yubel, or revive the Sharvara off of the Yama, use the effect of the Spirit of Yubel to get the Yubel in Graveyard. We'll also be able to pop the Chamber off of the Yama after we summon the Sharvara, but then we'll get access into Shyama, go into Rage, use the effect of Shyama, popping the Terror Incarnate, getting us access into the rank 6 as we have the Ultimate Nightmare, but we'll then be able to get the Mature Chronicle counters. We'll go into the Caesar, then use the effect of the Mature Chronicle, back into our extra deck for the follow-up, and from here we can go on to the end phase, the effect of the Samsara D-Lotus, which will get itself back on board. Now we can just get the maintenance cost from Yubel as we get another counter for the Samsara summon, and tribute off the Nightmare so that we have the full board to play with on our opponent's turn. The final one, we have a test hand, and I wanted to do this one in specific because it just kind of shows the ugliness that you can get with 2 level 10 monsters and a trap card. Then you have a couple of spells that really make everything go here, so it's really cool that it only takes 1 card, kind of get your whole hand going. There is also the reality that going second can be pretty rough with this deck right now. We're going to start by using the 1-for-1, pitching the Terror Incarnate, getting ourselves the Samsara. We'll then use the effect of Samsara, getting ourselves the Spirit of Yubel, use the effect of Spirit of Yubel, getting us our copy of the Nightmare Pain or the Mature Chronicle, as we'll then activate the Mature Chronicle, activate the Nightmare Pain, use the effect of Nightmare Pain in order to pop the Spirit of Yubel, getting a copy of Samsara, and we'll also get a counter on the Mature Chronicle this way, as we're then going to be able to normal summon the Samsara, go into a copy of Yama. Keep in mind that we summoned the first Samsara off of the 1-for-1, so that's why we were able to normal summon this one. We'll get our Sharvara. The effect of Sharvara, we're going to continue stacking counters, as we're going to use the Spirit of Yubel, get back the Yubel, as we'll then be able to go into our Abyss Actor, use the effect of Sharvara for the chamber. We'll then be able to use the effect of Super Producer, popping the Yubel. Yubel will then be able to get its effect as well as the Yama to bring back the Sharvara, pop the chamber, as we'll then get the Terror Incarnate, and get the counter, use the effect of chamber on a new chain link to get the Shyama, then go into the Rage, use the effect of the Shyama, popping the Terror Incarnate, get back the Shyama, as we'll then use the Terror Incarnate in order to get the Ultimate Nightmare. So you'll see that it's coming up a lot, where the Mature Chronicle and the Ultimate Nightmare allow us to make these boards. But we're then going to continue here by going into our Caesar, use the effect of the Mature Chronicle in order to bring back the Yubel. We have the ability to set the Eternal Favorite, which unfortunately we don't have a discard, the Super Poly effect, and that is something that is worth noting when playing against this deck. A lot of people know this deck as a Super Poly deck, but sometimes they're not going to have the discard. Sometimes they may just be relying on the Samsara, the Rage, and the Caesar. So we're going to continue here by special summoning back out the Samsara, attributing off the Ultimate Nightmare after we get the Mature Chronicle counter, and with this we can pass on to our opponent. With all of the combos out of the way, we can get onto the deck profile, and the first thing that I would like to point out that I didn't say before is that this card is a tuner, but unfortunately a lot of the hands that I've seen in this deck really don't take synchro approaches unless you open very specific where you have access into Dark Beckoning Beast plus the 1-for-1, and you can just get the extra normal summon or whatever, Tricorn, go into the Herald, and even then it's just a little bit awkward because you start banishing things from the hand, whether it be from Nightmare Pain, the 1-for-1, or the revival of the opening of the Spirit Gates. And I guess another thing I would like to point out is that I am playing the 3 opening of the Spirit Gates and the 3 Dark Beckoning Beast, and the reasoning for this is because when you see Dark Beckoning Beast, it is a lot better if you see the opening of Spirit Gates with it. The reason being is that because if you activate opening first, you can get your other copy of the Dark Beckoning Beast. This ensures you have the ability to go into a Link 2, rather than normal summoning the Dark Beckoning Beast first, getting yourself the gates, and then your opponent trolls you, and if you have nothing but hand traps or level 10s in your hand, you can't do anything from there. You'll also see that we have some other synchro options. You can also technically play level 8 since we have the Unchained. It's not something that I recommend. You'll see that we are on Typhon, which could also be Zeus. Now, I would like to talk about Mystic Potato, not a card that I would play in this deck, but it is a card that we did get in this set. It reads, if this card is on the field, or if this card on the field is destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 dark monster with 1500 or less attack your deck in attack position, except Mystic Potato. So just a really cool card with a lot of potential down the line, maybe not currently, but just worth noting. And then finally, I would like to go over some of the other things. The going second cards, where we have the enemy controller, and the reason that we play the enemy controller is because unfortunately the Samsara isn't a quick effect, and having the ability to tribute it off if your opponent does impermit, and you can get yourself the Samsara back off of something like opening of the Spirit Gates, and continue to play on from there. It's just the little things like that that made me feel the enemy controller might be really solid, even if it does tribute your monsters, doesn't destroy them, because at the same time, sometimes resolving that Dark Beckoning Beast can be really important too, and having the ability to tribute it off, dodging a potential targeting disruption that may stop its effect could be really important. Finally, I would like to talk about Ruha and other Unchained cards that you could play. If you want to play this, I would suggest playing your Unchained deck, reason being that you do play a lot of cards specifically for the Yubel stuff in this archetype. I would also like to go over cards like Called By, Crossout, Thrust, and Talent, and I think that the future of this deck is sort of a dependence on these cards, because there will be hands where you only see something like Samsara, and that just loses to Ash. Also things like Dark Beckoning Beast that can lose to a single imperm, even though most of the times your opponent may not stop that stuff because they understand that you could have potential other starters deck or extenders or whatever. just the fact that those things can be turn-ending. All of that out of the way, I'm going to get onto the card by card, and we have the 3 Dark Beckoning Beast, the 3 copies of the Opening, the 3 copies of Samsara, we then have the 3 copies of Piri, the 2 copies of Tricorn, the 1 copy of Mature Chronicle, 1 1-for-1, 1 Chamber, the 1 Eternal Favorite, 1 Sharvara, the 1 Shyama, Ultimate Nightmare, 1 Terror Incarnate, the 1 Yubel, the 3 Spirit of Yubel, the 3 Nightmare Pain, 3 Super Poly, 3 Imperm, the 3 Enemy Controller, 3 Droll, and the 3 Ash Blossom to round out the main deck. The extra deck, we have the Caesar, we also have the Typhon, Mud Dragon, the Garura, we also have the 2 copies of the Loving Defender, we then have the 1 copy of the Almirage, we then have the 1 SP Little Knight, the 1 Rage, the 1 Yama, the 1 Super Producer, the 1 Shifter, the 1 Abomination, and the 1 Underworld Goddess to wrap up the deck profile. Last thing that I would like to mention is that you can play Dimension Shifter in the side deck if you would like to. There are some points where the graveyard might be a little bit important, especially with the Tricorn, which is why you don't see it in the main deck, but it's still worth noting since this is an auto win in a lot of matchups, and in Fire format this card is going to be particularly powerful. That's all I really have to say. For everyone who's made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching and for the 700 plus subs. Really appreciate your support. We've monetized the channel, giving us access to supers and memberships means that more awesome stuff is on the horizon. The channel membership, just click on the description below and there will be a link that takes you there. Also notice a free Discord link that I've made for us too. If you want to support me as a content creator, even if you can't donate supers or get a membership for the channel, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons help a lot too. For those wondering, I do plan on making updates to the channel as the support on the channel grows. Anyways, I hope to see you on the next one. It's Bones, signing out.